Sabina Kolbeck is the head of Save It, an IT firm that has been contracted by QPG to update their website and build them a new intranet. She is having a video conference with Matt, the head of IT at QPG. They are reaching the end of their meeting.
Okay, so is that everything?
Nearly. There's just one thing left which has come to me from my finance director.
Oh, yes?
Your invoice of last month. There's a supplementary charge for the website.
That's right. Are you talking about the extra costs for the marketing pages?
Yes, why isn't that work included as part of the main cost?
Well, because when we drew up the contract, 70% of the fee was for the intranet costs, as it was going to be a much more complex project. But your marketing department has requested many changes and additions which weren't part of the agreement.
But there's a clause in the contract which covers additional work.
Well, it says any additional work will be charged over and above the agreed fee.
Yes, I know the clause you mean, but it also says that any fee for this kind of work must be agreed by both parties.
But when your marketing people emailed me with their requests, I checked with you at the time.
But only the actual changes.
So you're saying we should have renegotiated on this price?
I'm saying we should have discussed any additional fees. I wasn't aware that this part of the job was going to be costed separately. Look, I'm sure we can resolve this. How would you feel about including this cost in the intranet costs? Because that side of the project has in fact been easier than any of us expected.
But they're two different jobs. I don't think we can talk about them as the same thing. The fact is that website has become a much bigger project than we originally agreed on, so I'm sorry, but we can't agree to that.
There is also an issue of the late fee. Both projects have run over time, and there's a clause in the contract for this.
Yes, but Matt, come on. The intranet is ready.
More or less. We still have some glitches.
Well, the website is only delayed because of marketing. Look, what are your main concerns here? The dates for this or just the amount of the last invoice?
Well, both, Sabina. I'm under a lot of pressure from my people asking why there are so many delays, and now there are additional costs.
Okay, Matt. Let's see if we can work this out. I want to check I understand you correctly first. So, your main concern is the existence of additional costs when there are delays, and the fact that people are putting you under pressure. Is that right?
That's it.
Okay, well, I think we may be able to resolve this. I can probably work something out regarding the fees on this occasion, but my main concern is that I don't want to find myself in a position in the future where I don't get paid for additional work requested by other departments. Does that make sense?
Sure.
In which case, what I propose is this. First, let's forget the additional fee for this month. In return, would you agree to dropping any late fees this time?
I think that would be okay. I'm still concerned about the delays, though.
Absolutely. I quite understand. So the second part of my proposal relates to the delays. Now, obviously, there's nothing I can do about delays so far. And as I say, I think these have come from both sides. The problem has been more to do with the communication between us when marketing have approached me with more changes and requests. Does that sound fair?
Yes, I simply needed clearer estimates from you in terms of additional costs and times involved.
Okay, so in future, I suggest we make it clear that if there are any further changes in major work, we need to talk. That way you'll be up to date on progress and you won't be receiving any nasty surprises when the invoice arrives. At the same time, I won't be worried about putting in additional work for free.
That sounds good, I think. One thing, I think any agreements we make for additional work and time should also be confirmed in writing.
That's a really sensible idea. I need to spend as much time on this project myself as I can, so would you be prepared to take on the responsibility for drafting these agreements?
Sure, I'd prefer it that way myself.
Great.
So, just to be clear, we've agreed that you will send me the replacement invoice, taking off the additional charges, and that I'll forget about the late fees. And we've also agreed that in future you will approach me as soon as you've been asked to do anything extra which will affect progress and additional costs.
And that you'll draft confirmations following any discussions.
Great. That makes life easier. I'll confirm this agreement in writing too.
Actually, Matt, now we've got that out of the way, I need to speak to you because marketing have just told me they want changes made to the customers' pages.